Wal-Win Sports Weekly, we are live for the Pie Factory at historic downtown Jasper. Brett Elmore alongside Brian Hell for WJLX Sports. And Brian, welcome in your first Pie Factory visit this week. You've been on football duty, but welcome in.
Yeah, I had these guys' games last week. I had Oakman Cordova and followed that up with Dora versus Aniana. So it was a busy week last week. Happy to be back here at the Pie Factory.
And, of course, the Pie Factory, the place to watch all the college football games. Let's, before we get to our special guest tonight, which is Coach Ryan Hall of the Oakman Wildcats, let's recap last week's games briefly. Coleman defeated Jasper 15-13.
Yeah, and really impressive show defensively by the Vikings. It's just special teams just had hiccups. That's correctable, though.
Dora defeated Aniana, a game you had 27-13. Big win for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, and they got it done so many different ways, but the main thing was at the point of penetration, their line was stellar on offense and defense.
Decatur Heritage blanked Carbon Hill 55-0.
Yeah, DJ Emerson's era got started off on the wrong way.
Barry defeats Curry 50-13.
Yeah, that's not exactly what you want to have back to back. Is two losses like Curry has.
Hubbardville defeats Summit Christian 43-0.
We know the numbers problem, Brett. Unfortunately for the Eagles right now, they just got to stay uninjured as possible.
Yeah, and of course Lynn, the Bears 54-18 over Marion County.
Goodness gracious, that's a third-round playoff team from last year that they did that to. Wow, the Bears.
All right, and then we have Addison defeating Vina 50-0.
Not much of an accomplishment, Brett. We could probably find some kids out in the parking lot that could beat Vina.
You're probably right. Don't know for sure, but you're probably right. Let's see. Also, Hackleburg defeated Meek 24-8.
Now, that's one that we did not see.
No.
We knew that was probably going to be a competitive game for Meek. Hackleburg did end up third in the region last year, but, boy, they obviously came to play.
Yeah, they did, and they came to play, and that they did. Let's see. Ending up, East Lawrence defeated Winston County 20-16.
Yeah, that's a long trip up there. That could have factored in. Could have been some blowover from the previous week, the big week over Addison. Could be just need some adjustments, or East Lawrence has turned it up this year. But I think Winston County's going to land back on their feet good.
All right, that's a look at what happened last week at the Wal-Win. We'll take a...
we have Oakman Cordova.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. How could I forget? Oakman and Cordova, 20-9, the Wildcats with it.
Yeah, and I think we'll just hold the talk until we get back to talk to them.
Let's take a 3-minute break. 3 minutes, we'll be back with more for the Pie Factory in just a moment. We welcome you back, everybody, to the Pie Factory here in historic downtown Jasper. Brett O'More alongside Brian Hill for WJLX Sports. And Brian, the special guest tonight going to be the Oakman Wildcats. How about you introduce these guys?
Yes, sir. We have Carson Gillen, the lineman, up to my immediate left. Then, of course, Ryan Hall. And then, lastly, one of the big playmakers from last week, Bridger Oakman, that was stellar on both sides of the ball.
Coach, welcome into the program. Good to see you as always.
Yeah, guys, appreciate you having us. What an awesome place, man. Y'all got it going on up here. You just look off into the city there and got the sun blocked, and what a great evening to talk some football.
Absolutely.
It's good to have football back on the plate, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll talk about the win the other night. I mean, a big win over a county rival. Mm-hmm. And I asked you this during the break. Did you expect Cordova to come out in a wishbone?
No. We didn't. We weren't prepared for it, and great by them. I mean, that's kind of the things that people don't see in the game is we had a plan all week for some shotgun quarterback run stuff with the Bates kid, and how we're going to defend that 2-by-1 stuff, and then they come out under center unbalanced wishbone. And so definitely an adjustment there. I was proud of our coaches and players, for them to get on the sideline and get that corrected and only give up 6. We've never prepared for the wishbone. That I remember being at Oakman. We've never. So for those guys to get over there and get a plan together on that, it's just kind of testament to them. And obviously a big win, rivalry game for us, and one we want to win, and just a exciting night. Hats off to their kids. Very competitive, and if you were there, it was a great environment, great high school football environment, and just ball bounced our way.
Coach, I'm going to start it off with you, and Carson, if you want to take it from there. Seemed like to me the biggest takeaway and real shift in this game was in the trenches in the second half. Your guys up front, whether it be on offense and defense, really wanted that game, wanted to win that game, and that's where they took over. Is that one of the things that you saw?
Yeah, I think there were 3 pivotal points in the game, and that was kind of the finishing touches, I think. Our defense being able to adjust to the wishbone was one. We held them to a field goal right before half. They had the ball inside the 5, first and goal, and we kept them out, which that's a 4-point swing. That's 4 points for us. That's how we counted that, and kept the game at 9-6. And then that last 16-play drive, where we were able to really, really kind of lean on them. And I was proud of our front. Our line played exceptionally well during that time. And our running back, Tyler Thomas and Casey Dickerson, both those guys really, they made some big runs. And then the catch by Rick there on the 4th down play kind of was a big deal too. So, but definitely I felt like we were able to kind of, get in there and move the ball with our front, and our running backs. And that changed the game. Not only are you moving the football, but you're killing the clock. We had a 14-9 lead there, and the ability to keep the ball. They had 2 plays in the fourth quarter. They ran 2 plays. We had it from 151 in the third to 2:15 in the fourth. I mean, that's phenomenal. And so, testament to our front and our backs. And Coach Trotter did a great job of getting the right play call and getting it adjusted. And so Carson can kind of give you a little bit more detail about on the field. But yeah, definitely that was a pivotal part of the game.
Yeah, Carson, from a lineman's perspective, did y'all just have that more sense of motivation and energy in that second half, like you knew that it all started with you guys?
Well, it all started clicking with us, but I think ultimately it was we were more conditioned than them, and we were running past them as we got off the ball, and we timed it up with the quarterback, and when he was clapping, we took our second step, and we were done 2 guys behind us.
Yeah.
We could just block them down the field.
What classification are you in?
Sir?
What year are you in?
Year 2025. I'm a junior.
You're a junior. Look at the size on this guy.
6'9".
6'9". Coach, it's always good to find a kid that big and that strong to play, right?
Yeah, there's some problems with it though, right? Like we can't find cleats and shoes, and we can't find clothing, and but we'll figure all that out.
Look, it's a good problem to have, I guarantee you. And how do you enjoy playing for Coach Hall? This is a good moment for you now to get brownie points.
I love playing with Coach Hall as the coach because we have most of the stuff we do, and we have Bible in our football. And I think that's good for the players to know what to do once they get out of football also.
Training them to be good young men.
Yeah, Bridger, let me ask from your perspective on defense. You were able to make a lot of penetration. I know your defensive line helped you defensively as they tied up the offensive line for you to be able to get back there, get a lot of penetration, secure hits in the backfield or at the line of scrimmage. What were you seeing out there?
Well, we had a lot of good playmakers on the line. It was a coming out party for them, basically. They played very well. I mean, it shocked me a little bit when it came out on that wishbone, I'm not going to lie. But, I mean,
were you looking there and saying, what is this?
yeah, because we was preparing for spread all week, and then see wishbone, I'm just like, man. But,
Well,
I mean,
Coach, these kids now are they hardly even know what the wishbone is.
No, we have coaches that don't know what it is.
Right,
I mean,
yeah,
it's just, And the thing, I know the kids. We have meetings, and you're showing them film. You go, all right, when they do this, we're going. This is our formation rec to this and that, and they go, Coach, you lied. Like there's not two receivers out here. So. But proud of these guys. Bridger's kind of our quarterback on defense. He's free safety, and he gets all the checks and makes our coverage calls. And Coach Painter puts a lot on him in terms of formation recognition. If it's twins or trips, he's the guy that makes all those checks. So he's probably out there with his head spinning. He's going, what in the world? But really proud of the effort and their ability to do that, not panic. And that's a mature thing. I think last year we might have panicked a little bit. We were young, and that's a year of maturity, and really proud of them.
Well, they knocked you in the mouth, and you saw this, and you made that halftime adjustment. And then I understand Cordova only had 38 yards in the second half.
Yeah, I definitely think that's the job that our defensive coaches did. Coach Duke, Coach Ward, and Coach Painter is the coordinator, and those guys had to get – one of the things we've been able to do this year more than we ever have is two platoon. We've been able to play guys on one side of the ball.
That's good.
See, in the past, those guys are out there playing offense. You can't make those adjustments. Now, both of these guys play a lot of snaps. They play on both sides a little bit. But if you can't get them off the field, you can't make that adjustment. So, those defensive coaches did a great job of relaying information to the player. All right, now we're going to have to do this. We're going to go to a different front. We're going to have to bump the front because they're unbalanced, and then we're going to have to figure out how we're going to set that edge. And those are things that go on in the normal fan doesn't see that. They just see the football play and go, well, they're running it right down our throat. Well, the reason they're running it down our throat is because we haven't made the adjustment how we need to line up to it. So, great job by the coaches. Great job by these players of going out and executing that plan, and it's a lot more difficult than people realize.
Oh, sure.
And I thought quarterback play was good for a second starter back there. I know he has not had 2 seasons of experience. This was just his second time being back there in a rivalry game, performing at his level.
No,
I thought
absolutely.
it was exceptional.
Absolutely. He just, he didn't get us beat. You know what I mean? He did what he needed to do to and one thing that I don't want to give away too much, but Caden makes a lot of checks for us. Like he does a lot for us. He moves people and gets us in the right look, and very smart kid, very cerebral. He studies the game. He just turned 15 actually,
Wow.
like 2 weeks, like a week ago. So he's very young. I mean, he's last year we wanted to play him more than we did, but just didn't feel like he was ready. It just
Sure.
I didn't want to. Sometimes you can burn the steak with a kid by putting him out there too early. And so he threw about 40 passes, played about 200 snaps last year. But
if you threw me out there at 14, I'm probably not going to feel too comfortable against guys like this on the other side of the ball.
He's very level-headed,
Yeah.
very mature for his age. And he doesn't. The one thing I'm proud of him, he's not a me guy. Like, he doesn't need all the glory, and he doesn't try to do too much. He just stays within the realm of what we're trying to do, and I'm really proud of his development.
Well, Coach, we'll file that one away, and we'll come back after this 2-minute timeout. We'll talk about your next opponent coming up for the Oakwood Wildcats. Got to make the trip to midfield to take on the Patriots. We'll be back after this 2-minute timeout. We welcome you back to the Pie Factory in historic downtown Jasper. We're here every Thursday night for Wal-Win Sports Weekly, and then at 6:30, the Coach David Reeves Show, head football coach of the Jasper Vikings. Then at the top of the hour, the GOAT, Nick Saban from Tuscaloosa, will have that show on at 7 o'clock. Coach Ryan Hall joins us. And Coach, midfield, the Patriots, always a pretty good program.
Yeah, Coach Isaac does a great job. They're very disciplined, very sound, and they'll have 2 or 3 guys that can score the ball from anywhere on the field. Last year they were young like us. We were very similar in terms of player age. They're a year older, we're a year older. They're a year better, we're a year better. So, we have a tremendous amount of respect for him and the program that they run, and we'll have to do a good job. We'll have to do a good job limiting explosives because they're very explosive on offense.
With so many young guys, you alluded to it, the fact that both you guys and midfield were young last year. I know last year you had to take a lot of lumps, but it seemed like a lot of guys got played, and that's really paying off right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Like some people last year would say like it was a disappointing year. I said it wasn't disappointing. I mean, we knew our backs were against the wall, and we were going to have to fight and grow up, and there's a lot of maturity. We had 13 seniors that played almost every snap of every game on every special team on offense, defense for 3 years. And they graduated, and then you pull a new group in, and you can't learn certain things in practice. Last year we go play Sullivan week 0. Sullivan on the kickoff, our tight end, ball goes over his head, he doesn't recognize and they go pick it up and get field position score. Well, you can't practice that. Like that's got to happen in the game for them to learn that. And so we went through all those things. The kids made a commitment, and I'll see. Here's the things we're going to do to fix it. We're going to get stronger. We'll do a better job with the little things that nobody else cares about, like hydration, nutrition, sleep, all those little things that we can control. And they committed to doing that, and that's what we've done. We're not there. Like, we haven't arrived. We don't think that, but we're definitely better than we were last year. We're farther along. We're a year stronger, a year more mature, and so we're going to keep pushing the envelope and keep trying to get better, and we still feel like there's a lot more. I mean, we have 12 juniors and 11 sophomores right now that are playing.
Oh, wow.
So we're still, young. We're not senior laden.
Yeah.
Bridger, from a confidence standpoint, much more this year than what y'all faced game 1 last year?
Yeah, like a ton more. I feel more confident in everything I do on both sides of the ball. I feel like the whole team feels that. It's just more experience, and experience goes a long way when it comes to football. And
Bridger, what have you seen on tape about midfield that concerns you a little bit?
They got 2 good receivers. They'll go make a play on the ball. They got a quarterback that's not scared to sling it.
Yeah. Same question for you. What do you see on film that may be concerning at your post?
Well, they run a 3-3, and one of their backers they run up. So when they run them up, it's pretty much still a 4-man front, and we don't know which backer is gonna go. But we have calls that we can get, and I'm pretty confident we can get them.
Coach, on film, what concerns you other than the obvious? They're pretty good.
Yeah, no, absolutely. When you got there's guys that can score the ball from anywhere on the field, that's obviously a concern because you don't want to get in a big chunk play game with them.
Yeah.
They are 3-3 stack, and that presents some problems because of leverage and things that we do offensively. That bumps backers out a little wider and causes us to have to do some things. So hopefully we can manage that adjustment that we've had to make throughout the week. But, the game's still going to come down to what it always does, tackling. Can we tackle them in space? If we don't, it'll be a big play. And we got to be opportunistic. I felt like we dropped some balls against Sullivan that were big plays. We missed some tackles that allowed big plays. Well, last week at Cordova, we made those plays, and we caught those balls, like Rick catching the fade there at the end of the game. And so I feel like if we can do that, and I've told the kids all week, my message to them has been, was that really who we were Thursday night? Or was it about the environment and the rivalry, and these kids? Are we going to be the same team Friday night when we go to midfield? Because if we are, I feel good about it. We can walk off the field with our heads high no matter what happens, but, I hope we've grown up enough where that just becomes who we are. I think Sullivan proved to be probably a little better team than most people thought. They beat Fayette last week after they beat us, so – I'd like to have that game back, but we can't. So, anyway, that's, just limiting explosives, and then we got to control the front, control the line of scrimmage, and be able to run the football.
Carson, Bridger, how good would it be to start off region play 1-0 as you look to the rest of the season? How big would that be for you guys?
I think that would be really big, and I think everyone on our team is confident, but I think there's a few that if we got that, it would boost them up that much more.
It'd be a phenomenal confidence boost, and we can keep a streak going. And that's whenever you're going on a streak, your confidence keeps on growing and growing and growing, and it'll put us in a good position for the rest of the season.
Coach, final thoughts as we wrap up here tonight.
Yeah, guys, I just, as always, I tell you guys that I appreciate everything that you guys do. And, high school sports in our area is still important. It's not that way everywhere. And the reason it's important is because people value it, like you guys and people in these communities, whether it's Oakman, Cordova, Jasper, Curry. People value that, and you guys are a big part of that. And, it's all about these kids. And you guys do a great job of highlighting and spotlighting these kids. And I'm just so grateful that we live in a place where you guys do that, and I know our players are, and we can't thank you guys enough for that. And go Wildcats.
Coach, appreciate your time, and go Wildcats. Looking forward to seeing what you guys do against the Patriots and the rest of the year. We'll send it back to our studios, a 3-minute break. We'll come back with the Coach David Reeves Show next, live from the Pie Factory in historic downtown Jasper. This has been Wal-Win Sports Weekly, live from the Pie Factory in historic downtown Jasper. We welcome you back into the Pie Factory at historic downtown Jasper. The sun beginning to set. It's starting to feel pretty good out here, and the Coach David Reeves show is on the air live for the Pie Factory. Coach, good to see you, my friend.
Good to see y'all, guys. Thanks for having me.
Well, let's talk about last week. And we had talked briefly over the weekend, and I tell you what, it was a weird night. It was just a strange night.
Yeah.
Woody and I talked about it on the air. The rain came.
Starting with James Spann missing the forecast. I mean, I didn't see any of that rain on.
I texted him tonight, and I was like, give us a really good forecast for tomorrow night. But no, James missed that one a little bit. And but anyway, didn't expect the downpour that we got, and of course that's nothing you can prepare for.
No, it was good though. I mean, it was a strange game. I mean, a lot of ebbs and flows and ups and downs. A lot of near misses for us. On in all three phases really. But that's the way it is in a big rivalry game. I mean, you got to execute.
The special teams, and I've talked about this week.
Yep.
Kind of left 9 points on the field.
Yep.
Has that been something in practice that you saw, or was that a weather thing that may have?
I don't even know. I don't even know. There, it's not weather. It's not.
First game jitters, or maybe.
Maybe if you're going to hang it on anything, I mean, you know what? We've made those kicks. We've made those snaps. We've made those protections. Over and over and over and over. And, for whatever reason, nobody feels worse than the people that made mistakes on it, obviously. And there's really not an explanation other than just get better and just execute it better the next time. So.
Coach, I know one thing you always look at positives, besides the fact that I think your defense played extraordinarily well under so many circumstances. You never know down the line if, while you're playing Sidney Lanier next month, it could come under the downpour.
Sure.
Do you pick up vital experience in that type of weather, knowing that this is Alabama, it could happen anytime?
Yeah, and what's really strange, we practiced in the rain several times.
Yeah.
And you welcome it, through camp. You're like, oh, okay, good, it's raining. This is going to help us.
It's not 99 degrees,
right.
First of all. And it'll cool us off a little bit, but also get experience.
No doubt. And so, there was a lot of experience that we'll gain from that the other night. I mean, there are no moral victories. I don't believe in those, but there was experience gained by a bunch of guys that were playing their first meaningful varsity snaps in the Jasper black and gold. And so we're excited moving forward. We knew what it was going to be up against, as far as moving on that experience. And so it's trial by fire. Here we go. And so it's good, and we're just going to keep getting better.
They jumped up, I think it was 9-0 at one point. But then you started seeing us settle down, it seemed like.
It really did.
And that's when I was talking on the air with Woody. I said, it seems like we have calmed down a little bit. We're playing our game. Yeah. And that being our first game. Now, granted, Coleman had a big game with Mars Hill before. That meant something.
Sure.
But it seemed like we really calmed down and showed a lot of flashes of brilliance, both sides of the ball.
Yeah, and I would even go all three phases. I mean, there were some great punts after that, and did a really nice job. I tell you, some near misses on offense, defensively. Just started doing the things that we knew we could do, and so it was a lot of positive. I mean, I tell you, the guys played extremely hard, and that's a big deal to me.
Yeah.
Is how hard we play and the effort we play with, and the execution we can fix. The execution will continue to get better with experience, but just playing hard. You never want to see a team, oh man, this bad thing happened and that bad thing happened, and they kind of lay down. you know, and don't really recover from that. And that was never the case the other night, all the way till the end. You know, I'm on the sideline thinking we're going to stop them right here and go down, kick a field goal, and win the game.
Yeah.
You know, I mean and that's the way our kids are starting to think. You know, now we've got to continue to execute. You know, to put ourselves in that situation, but it's coming. It's coming.
Coach, one thing I've got to ask you.
Yes.
Quarterback play.
Yes.
We know Tanner Morrow. He had a few starts last year because of some certain depth chart situations.
Sure.
He was able to start his first game of the year in full-fledged. How do you see it from a coach's eye?
Yeah, you know, I'll tell you, Tanner is one of those guys. He did come in for Spencer a couple of times last year. He was short-lived against Ramsey. I think third series of the game. He was out of that, so it's really Coleman was what he had last year, you know. And so, man, it's just so fun to watch him every day at practice. He gets better and better and better and better, what you would expect. You know, you look out there, he's so big and has grown so much and all that, and you forget he's just a junior, you know, at the start of his junior year. And so he's got a bright future, and he'll continue to grow and get better.
One thing I saw when he ran that touchdown in, it showed a lot of confidence from him, and also throwing the football. Kid's got an arm.
He really does. You know, I think he surprised himself. And, you know, moving into this, but he has grown. I mean, you're talking about a kid that's probably grown 4 inches since the beginning of last year, 3.5 inches. Put on about 30 pounds. Of good weight. Not the kind of weight I put on, but good weight. Good weight, and and he surprised himself. I think even his sneaky athleticism is going to surprise some people because his feet are getting better as he grows into his body. His feet are getting better. He can make all the throws. And with the experience, he's just going to continue to figure out which ones he needs to make. And he's doing a great job. And like I said, it's really fun watching him develop on a daily basis.
Talk about the running back core, specifically Pledger, young kid. I think he's only just a sophomore.
Right, yeah. Makai, my only concern with Makai is, he runs it like his life depends on it every play.
Like someone's chasing him. Yeah,
I mean, every play. He's everything you want in a running back. I mean, I'm glad that we've got several good backs to mix in with him because, man, you just never know. He's got a never quit mentality when he's running the ball. I mean, he's a really special player, and we're glad he's on our team.
Receiving core, saw some nice things out of those guys.
Yeah, those guys, man, just thinking back to where we started in the summer, and all the work that those guys have put in and all the times they've came up there on their own and just ran routes, and Tanner's up there throwing to them and Jalen's up there throwing to them, and they can't get enough of it, and it shows. They're really starting to get a feel for each other in the game and what to expect and what everybody can and can't do. And so, man, that's huge. That's huge.
Before we get to the defense, because I know you're a defensive guy, the offensive line really opened up some gaping holes at times, and your thought about their play.
Yeah, I'll tell you, new offense, new scheme. Obviously there's some carryovers when you talk about the power and the counter. I mean, that's old hat, but there are some new schemes, and those guys are the same way. You're watching those guys gel. Unfortunately, you've got to have 5 guys all beaten on the same with the same drummer. They've just got to bring it every single time. And right now, as they settle in, as you said the other night in the game, you get one guy that takes a flat step and should be at a 45 or vice versa. And when the play doesn't get off and you're sitting there looking at it from a coaching standpoint going, man, it's close, but close doesn't win games. And so we've got to clean that up and continue to execute. But I'm happy with those guys. I think, Coach Chapman has done a good job bringing the offense along and bringing Tanner along. And Coach Pro has done a really nice job mixing the experience he had at receiver in with a bunch of young guys. And then Coach Roy is doing a super job at bringing the offensive line into where we want to be. You know, Coach Walls is back there, man, coaching the crap out of the running backs. And so I'm expecting us to continue to improve throughout this year, you know.
Those are things that are correctable.
Sure.
Things that we saw. Defensive side of the ball, thought we played really well, personally.
You know, I'm going to tell you, there are little things.
Well, you're a defensive guy, so you've seen much more than I do.
Well, no, not much more than anybody, but I am probably harder on the defense. You know, I just know if they can't score, they can't win, and so you know, it's always kind of been my thing. But defensively, I thought we played with a lot of effort and made a bunch of really, really good plays. I thought we left a few out there. You know, I mean, I did. I mean, it was a huge play by JoJo. The interception really
that screen
turned the
pass,
tide.
yeah.
You know, and that was big. And there were some couple of big sacks, a couple of big stops down there close. You know, defensively they didn't give a touchdown.
I was about to say that they didn't score a touchdown offensively the whole night.
No, they didn't. And so, boy, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff to, to continue to grow, and a lot of positives we're going to talk about. And we're going to keep getting better right there. I mean, there's a lot there. I mean, it was a great lesson for a bunch of our young guys. It takes all three phases working together, and one phase can't shine, and the other plays so, and you get the result you want in a big rivalry game. And so it's not going to be any different this Friday night. I do want to back up and brag on the young guys. They debuted on Tuesday night this week, since it was Labor Day, against Coleman, and it was, I think, 32-6. I don't know. I didn't look up the scoreboard.
34-8 or 32-6, something like that.
It was something, but man, just went down there with a really good group that played really, really hard as well. And so, the future looks bright. I mean, the future looks bright. So,
Connor Elmore and Luke Horsley both have big games, by the way. If anybody hadn't seen it, Luke Horsley, our Jasper Custom Trophy WJLX Player of the Week.
Yeah.
They were there at the time of attack, because obviously 10 tackles means you're doing something good. And, of course, the interception by JoJo. How did you see overall the way that the guys were reading?
How they were doing what now? I'm sorry.
How they were reading, both the linebackers and the secondary.
I thought our eyes were really good. I mean, it's something that we stressed. We stressed that a lot since we got here. Be a part. Be a part. You're not just out there to stop the pass game. You're not just out there to make a tackle 20 yards down the field. See the right things and trust your eyes, and then go hit it. I thought Connor played extremely well, but you know what? There were times he should have been deeper in the middle of the field. And he knows that. Nobody's harder on himself than Connor, and he played a really good game, and I think he's just going to keep improving. Luke, man, I tell you, Luke, he just goes as hard as he can every play. I mean, what a joy to coach him, We keep training his eyes. It was his first real meaningful varsity experience. We ran around on JV team last year and made a bunch of plays, and stuff like that. But under the lights, he was a little big-eyed, going out there and just shut the emotions off and went out there and hit the ball a lot. I was really happy with him, and I could keep calling out. I thought the two sophomore corners played really good for the most part. Same thing. I mean, we can't let guys behind us. We can't let guys behind us, and whether they throw it to them or not. I mean, that's something that somebody else is going to take back. I thought our defensive line did a nice job. It was one of those nights where they don't have as many opportunities for plays, but they're holding up their end of the bargain so that Luke and some of those other guys could step around and make some plays.
Yeah, from a coaching perspective, I know you had the line that didn't allow a single offensive touchdown, so that means their offensive line was not doing what they wanted.
Well, absolutely. I mean, they couldn't push us around. Coach Carr is doing a nice job at improving those guys, and they played really hard. You know, we're going to keep getting better right there. I thought there were a couple of things, you know, we can improve. I mean, I've been coaching a long time, and I've never coached a perfect game yet. I've never seen a perfect game, and we've got a lot of stuff to work on. We've got a lot of stuff to work on as coaches. I've got a lot of stuff to work on as a head coach, and so we're just going to keep moving this thing forward and run through the smoke.
The Coach David Reeves Show live from the Pie Factory in historic downtown Jasper. We'll take a break. 2 minutes, back with more. We'll talk about the Ramsey Rams coming up next. The Coach David Reeves Show, live on WJLX 1015, streaming live online. Coach, let's talk about the Ramsey Rams. I tell you, doesn't get any easier. I was, we were talking during our preview show yesterday, Brian. Ramsey loses. They drop to second. Pleasant Grove moves to number one, and it's like, good grief.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's exciting time, man. Exciting time for our players. Exciting time for our coaches. You know, I've got a lot of respect for Ramsey, you know, as a school that I've been in many times recruiting and used to be right down the road from my old office, you know. And so I have a lot of respect for them, and you know, but that's where you want to play the best. I mean, you know, you want to play the best. And so we're excited about it. I mean, it's good. It's going to be a good measuring stick. You know, it's going to be a chance for us to go out there and say, hey, this is where we are. You know, we've had a great week of practice. We've had a great week of preparation. You know, we've got a good plan on in all three phases of the game. And you know, we're going to go out there and just play as hard as we can.
As monumental as this game is, Coach, how good does it feel to be home for a second week instead of this game you have to take off down to Birmingham?
Yeah, you know, man, I love playing in Jasper. I love the stadium. I love the fans. I love the support we get from the city, man. It is really amazing. It's great for our kids. But, again, I'll say, you know, it gets me excited to play the best. You know, I mean, that gets me excited. I mean, you know, our players, they're excited about the opportunity, you know. I mean, that's what you want to do, you know. You don't want to float around and play a bunch of pretenders or whatever, and then really not know where you stand. I mean, Ramsey, Pleasant Grove, people like that, people in our region are setting the bar that we're chasing.
Talk about, and this is kind of off subject a little bit, but I was doing my research today. talk about John Carroll. Have you noticed how they have really progressed this season?
Yeah, I mean, I tell you what, my hat's off to Coach over there. I mean, because it didn't like they've had a big group of transfers out of the transfer portal. I mean, you know what?
Yeah.
All their coaching staff did is just sold their kids on a great plan and sold them on a bunch of hard work and took the same guys that they had from last year and are really playing at a high level, man. I couldn't be any happier for them and their program. It's impressive.
But back to the task at hand, Ramsey. Any chance that they'll look ahead to their number one versus number two battle next week?
I don't think so. They're too well coached for that, and I mean, we're not looking ahead. I mean, we're not conceding the game. We're not saying, oh crap, it's the number one team or number two team in the state. I mean, we're going to go out there and compete. At the highest level. I mean, I take our guys every time. I mean, not to win, not to lose, but I take the Jasper Vikings. I mean, that's I take our staff and our players, and that's who we're going to go to war with. And so, again, it's an exciting time, man. We know the great team that Ramsey has coming in, and that's the level that we want to compete at. I mean, that's the bar. So we need to go out there and measure up and see what happens.
Coach, obviously, not only this is a big game because it's a region game and because it's Ramsey, this is also your second game, which typically it's known among the football world. You improve your most from your week 1 to week 2.
Right.
Besides better execution, what do you want to really see improved?
Nothing that we can fix in a week. I mean, nothing that we can fix in a week. I want us to play harder. But you know what? Next week, no matter what happens, tomorrow night, then I'm going to say we got to play harder. I mean, our goal, one of the bottom steps on our pyramid is do it better than it's ever been done. Well, if you keep doing that, then you're always chasing. You're always chasing something, and so that's where we are. I tell you, I would like to see. I'd like to see us play harder. I would like to see better execution. I would like to see us better on third downs on both sides of the ball. At converting and stopping. I thought we had a few of those where we could have flipped the field and could have eaten some clock and stuff. And where we are today is where we thought we'd be today. And I'm not talking wins and losses. I'm just talking in the process of doing the things that we want to get done in order to be where we want to be at the end of this. And so, I want to walk down there and see a look in their eyes where, hey, I've done this before.
Yeah.
Because now we have. Now we have. And so, I want to walk down there and they know how I'm going to respond. Mm-hmm. And they know what I'm going to be about. And so on a real game day, and I want to see that look in their eyes. So it's really nothing major, nothing, just execute.
Running short of time here
Yes,
on
sir.
the Coach David Reeves Show. Coach, 2 more questions quickly.
Yes.
Keys to victory tomorrow night.
Yeah, keys to victory, energy, effort, and execution. I mean, we're going to have to do that. It's all about the ball. We're going to have to protect the ball, and we're going to have to try and create some turnovers. If we live in that world where we accomplish those 2 goals, then we're going to have a chance at the end, and in a big game, that's really all you can ask for.
And finally, as the last question tonight, your first game as the head football coach at Jasper last week, it was raining. I was leaving the house, and I thought, man, we're going to have a lot of listeners tonight.
Yeah.
And then I get to the stadium, and I'm like, good grief. People have shown up, and Jasper always has a crowd, and I was so impressed with our fans.
Yeah, man, oh, me too. I mean, it's been one of the greatest things since being here. The fans were there, man. Our student section was fantastic. Our cheerleaders were amazing on the sideline, picking up on. I thought the energy on the sideline, we hadn't even talked about it, was really good through the whole game. And the drum line came back out after all the rain and kept playing. And just just the people that showed up to support our young people. Man, I couldn't have been any more excited for them.
Any final thoughts, comments?
Yeah, we're just going to keep moving this thing forward, and again, we're excited about the game tomorrow night.
Looking forward to it, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Of course, we'll be on the air at 6 o'clock with the Tailgate Show. Coach, thank you for your time as always,
Yes,
and
sir.
we'll see you
Thank
next
y'all.
week.
Appreciate it.
All right, the Coach David Reeves Show live from the Pie Factory in historic downtown Jasper. That's going to do it for Brian Hell and for Woody Wilson. Back to the studio, our producer and engineer, I'm Brett Elmore saying good night from the Pie Factory.